Hi Scrappy friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do some fun things with our tools. So if you've watched this before, I used to call it Creative Memories Tools Roulette, and I'm changing the name ever so slightly to, let's have fun with our tools, because I don't want you to feel in any way limited to just your Creative Memory tools. Now, I'm a Creative Memories advisor, and I do buy a lot of their tools. I love their tools, and so that's why I'm highlighting them, and I want to make sure that I'm using them, not just putting them on the shelf. So what I do in this series is I will bring in my random number generator, and I will pick 3 random tools, create a layout on whatever tools are picked. What I want you to do is I want you to create your own list. So if you watched me before, you might already have your list, but if you haven't and this is your first time, I want you to pause the video, go create your list, come back, and choose the same numbers that I'm going to generate on my random generator. And if your list doesn't go that far, pick another number or use your own number generator. It's a free online tool. Pick 3 tools and let's get creating and have some fun. My list is up to 104, but you would put your numbers whatever you have. Okay, now I've done this before with my die cuts. I've done this before with embellishments. I wanted to use, random embellishments, so I made a list with all my different embellishments types on there, like washi tape, cork pieces, wood veneer, whatever it was, and then I randomly selected. So this is the concept, just randomly select items so that we could then be creative with the stuff we already own. Let me bring my iPad in up close. I'm using random.org. Over here is the generator. Let me expand it so you can see. I'll change this to 104. You would put in whatever you have, and there we go. And then I will generate, and it's telling me number 24. Let me grab my highlighter and highlight it. Okay, and then I'll do another one. So generate, and it's telling me item number 100, and I'll do one more. Whoops. And it's telling me number 76. Okay, let me put this aside. Okay, so what was drawn? I got number 24, which was my custom cutting system, the circles, all the circles. Okay, I do feel like that's pretty easy one so far. And then I got number 76, which is a teardrop lattice. That's a border punch. Then again, number 100, which is the border making system using, the double Rickrack. That's a new one. Okay, so let me put all these aside. I will need this right here, and I'll bring in the tools and show you what I have. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back, and I've selected the 3 tools that were chosen, which were number 24, the custom cutting circles. All 3 templates are up for grabs, and all 3 different blades are also, I could also use whichever ones I want from there. Then it was also generated that I use the teardrop lattice, which is a discontinued punch, but I know several of you out there have that, and it creates a punch out like this. So super beautiful. Kind of excited to be using this punch again. See, that's one I haven't used in a while. And then I also was randomly selected number 100, which is the brand new double Rickrack. So it's funny, I have something very old, something brand new this time. And here's a sample of what those would look like. Okay, so I'll just demonstrate more as we go along, but for now, I'm going to push these aside, go decide on my papers and my photos, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've decided what I'm going to do for my layout and what papers and photos I'm going to use. Because I chose the teardrop lattice punch, I thought it was a great opportunity to bring in some outdoorsy photos, and especially to dive into the brand new Painted Garden paper collection, because I had these photos of 2021 when my husband and I went over to our daughter's house and helped her put together a little garden area in her backyard. So I thought perfect collection, perfect photos, and the teardrop lattice just gives me that outdoorsy feeling. So I just thought it was going to blend so well together. So I chose this, they're calling it violet or fuchsia looking paper with all the pretty flowers and the little critters on it. I thought that was super cute. I chose this wood grain paper because we're outdoors. Again, we have the garden beds, and so I thought the wood would be awesome. And then I pulled in the stripe because I just love this stripe paper. It's kind of a muted piece. It's not so bold and vibrant, and so I think it's going to blend really nicely. For my background today, I decided to dip into my stash, and I found these 2 pieces of wood grain. I was really looking for wood grain, and there's so many wood grains that would go perfect with this collection. And because we're outdoors, again, working with the garden, that I thought it would be great to have some wood grain. But when some of the wood grains I pulled out, they just blended way too much with the background and kind of lost my photos. So I went with this one. I apologize. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it came from a paper pad because it's super thin. And then I brought in some cardstock as well. I brought in some scraps of Kelly green, white, and a piece of dark green. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I decided I wanted to create some borders. I'm gonna create 2 borders, and it's gonna be the same on both sides. So my idea with the border is to use the papers from the collection. All 3 of the tools that I selected will also be used in the border. So I'm going to first cut out the pieces I need for my border, and then we will assemble them, then we will create the page. So let's start with our white and our teardrop lattice punch. So this punch for me is probably one of the harder ones to punch, only because there's no triangle to line it up with, and that it's just kind of a little bit challenging to get it lined up. So what I do is punch the first one, and then you'll see here on the platform there's 1, 2, 3 little runs, but when you pop it out you got 6 little runs. So what I do is I slide it over to the first 3 and cover up the blue with those first 3 and then punch. And then I count 3 more and punch again. Now I don't know if there's a better and faster way to do it. That's just how I do it to get a nice clean cut. If for some reason you skipped a section, this punch is very forgiving, and you can just line it up and punch it out, and it usually comes out really good. So it's okay if you do too many. You could just back it up and do it again. But for me, I just like to do the 2 of these, so I'll put you on fast forward while I do the next one. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be a piece for our border. And then the next piece I want to bring in is the green with the wood grain. That's going to be the base of our border. So for this, I'm just going to do a 2 1/4 inch cut. And I need 2 of those. And I think we're probably done with that one for now. We'll put that up there with our lattice. Now for our floral piece, I'm actually going to bring in my decorative trimmer. So adding a 4th tool to our layout today. So bonus, right? And because I did choose the circle templates, I kind of want to add a little bit of extra waviness to my layout. I'm going to cut along here on just this little bit of a swell or a smaller wave this is what I would call wavy, just to kind of give me a little bit of a curve. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that at 1 1/4. I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other side just to save a little bit of time. So 1 1/4. And that'll give me 2 pieces for that. The next thing we want to bring in is we chose the double Rickrack border making cartridge. So I want to add that to my border as well. And for that, I'm going to bring in this gorgeous striped piece of paper, line it up into our border making system. And this will cut out 2 Rickracks because it's double. That's awesome. I think for now, that's all I'm going to need, and I'll just put 1 on each side. Okay. And I actually do like the yellow on this side, the other side too. So we're gonna maybe come back with that. I do like the stripe. Okay, so that's so far our pieces using 2 of our tools, which were the teardrop lattice and the double Rickrack. Let's bring in our custom cutting system. And for this part, we're going to use the middle size circle, and we'll use the red blade. I want to get a circle about 2.5 inches, so that's going to be perfect for this. So for that, I'll bring in some Kelly green. And let me bring in the dark green. The dark green, I still want to maybe be able to use some of it as a mat, so I don't want to cut like too close to the edge on this one, just in case I want to use it as a photo mat or something. So let's go ahead and get this cut out. Okay, I think I'm only need 1 of this for now. So let's get our borders out and show you what I'm gonna do. So I took all 3 of my tools and I'm gonna create this border. So I'm gonna start with my green as my base, and then I'm gonna lay the lattice right on top, leaving about 1/4 of an inch to the left-hand side. That's where I'm going to bring in this paper with a pretty floral paper. And I'm going to lay this right on top. So see, my lattice now has just become a layering piece, tucking under. And I'm layering it so you'll see there's a teardrop and then 2 diamonds. And I want it to be about in the middle of that second diamond. And it's not going to line up perfectly because of the swell, but I'm going to lay it just like that. And then here's where I'm going to bring in my Rickrack. My idea is to lay my Rickrack right on the outside edge. Again, I'm just kind of want to mirror that loopiness of the teardrop. And this is what it looks like with the striped paper. I'm going to turn it over and see if we like the yellow. I do like the yellow. That's very pretty, and we could be done. But I really want the stripe piece. So what I'm going to do is I want to cut another row and kind of shadow it in white. Okay, so what I have now is a white piece, and I just want to kind of shadow it so that my stripes will pop. Okay, let me grab my silicone mat and my repositionable tape, and I'll get this going for you. Okay. So I'm just going to show a little bit on one side and then hang off the stripe piece off the edge. And I'm just eyeballing it. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch, so about half of the width of the rickrack. And I'm doing this just to get it to pop a little bit more. Okay, there we go. And then what I'm going to do is put it right here on the edge, covering up basically that seam of that floral paper. And there we go. That's how it's going to look. I'm going to bring in 2 of these circles, and I'm going to probably hold off until I bring the photos in. Maybe I'll just have 1, I'm not sure. But I cut out 2 just to make sure, but basically the circles will go on here, and that's going to be the border for our page. So let me get this all adhered down, and then I'll get the other one assembled too. Then I'll be right back. Okay, hold on. Okay, I am back, and I've adhered to the borders. I left the circles loose for now, and the borders are still loose to the paper too, so I could still play around with photo placement. And I left the circles just floating so I can move them around based on my photos. And over here, I wanted to wait to commit. I don't want to just put a mirrored image over here. I want to do something a little bit different on that side. So let's do some photo placement and make a couple decisions on some things. To talk a little more about these photos, this was around my daughter's birthday time, and she asked us to come over and help her put in a garden. And she said, you know, as part of my birthday present. And so we said, okay, but we would have done it anyway, regardless, as it was really fun. And we like to all kind of do that kind of stuff together. We joke about this year, this was 2021, and things were starting to get back open after COVID. And since she didn't have a birthday the year before, then this birthday turned into what we joke around about as the 4-phase birthday, because there was just different days we got together, different people, and celebrated her birthday. So we call it the 4-phase birthday. So what I want to do on this 2-page spread is represent what would be phase 1 and phase 2 of her birthday, or at least 2 of the phases. And so I'm thinking on this side, instead of putting it vertically, I probably will drop it and do the border horizontally, because I'm thinking that most of the pictures will be of us gardening, and then some of them are actually of the night of her actual birthday when we got together and had cake and exchanged gifts. So I'm thinking that this border could be maybe the split, where we'll have the gardening photos on this page and at the top over here, and then down here would be the day of her birthday, where we just celebrated with dinner and dessert and gifts. And we always take pictures of our dogs nowadays on different birthdays, and I really want to get these in here if I can, especially this older one, because this dog is no longer with us. So it's very important, because this was the last birthday, her birthday, that the dog was here for. So I'd like to get that on there, and I already cut that into a circle, thinking I wanted more circles on my layout. So I'm gonna have to really work with that now. It wasn't a great photo, but now I really want it on there. Anyway, let's see, we have the finished garden area, and so I would like that to be at the top over here. And I have some actual gardening photos. I'm thinking to either have them side by side or maybe even at a slant right here. It's kind of fun. So these I've already trimmed down. This is a 4x6, and then this one I cut into a 4x4, so I can have it something like this. That's my plan. Okay, so let's take a look at the first page and make a couple decisions here. So the border will for sure go off to the side. I want a little bit of the wood grain paper showing through. Then up here, I'd like to bring in a mat card to mat that. So I'm thinking, I really enjoying this violet. So let's see what we think about that. Yeah, that's kind of nice, but let me see what else I have. Maybe green. This green matches our paper over here pretty good as far as the shade. And I'm not going to map these two. I especially want this part of the photo because it's showing some things in her backyard that are actually, I think, going to be important later on. And yeah, I think I have room for these, but I am liking it tilted. Maybe bring one down and one up to make it a little more playful. But other than that, I won't map those down there. Over here, let's see. We want to bring in any more design. I think, let's see, let's move this. See how much room we really have. Move these photos off. I'm going to have to do something special there. Not sure. And bring these two up. I'm not going to map these either. So I could bring the border right down. I could maybe even lay them on top. No. Okay, so I do want them just under. I could either put them lined up, or if I wanted to do the same as I did over here, I could maybe stagger them a little bit. No, I think I'm going to go straight on these. Those will be the only two tilted. Okay, so I'm just going to leave a little edge of paper around. I actually have plenty of room this way. Over here, I'll probably bring in a circle element just because I have the other circles. Okay, so let's look up here. I don't have a ton of room for matting, but let's look and see what color mat cards we have. I'm thinking, yep, I think I want to bring in some yellow. Let's look at the yellow. So these, I will have to trim the photo a little bit to get it on there. I'm going to get a green mat for that one. So I cut right out from the dark green paper where I cut the first circle, and then I cut a 4x4 square because I won't have room to go any larger than that. So I'll trim down this photo and this photo a little bit. Now I need to get my circle in here, and I'm really thinking I don't want the Kelly green anymore, or maybe I need some dark green to downplay the Kelly green a little bit. Let me grab another circle in the dark green. Okay, so here we go. I cut another circle out, and we can do the same thing, or we can maybe move our circle up to the top and do maybe a half a circle. Okay, let me go ahead and step away and trim these down. Okay, so I got these matted. I'm really liking the yellow. It's bringing out the yellow in the boots that she is wearing. Now I'm looking at my circle, so I'm going to have a circle element down here because I've already committed to that. I have my circle elements here, so I'm going to bring the circle at the top, but I'm thinking over on this side, which means I'm just going to rotate my photos a little bit and do something like that. And then I'll trim that off at the top. Let me pause really quickly. I will get the borders adhered down, the circles adhered down, and then I will be back and we will get ready to give this titling a journaling spot and some embellishments. So hold on. And while I'm pausing, I would like to take a moment to ask you if you're enjoying this video and you're enjoying rocking those tools, then please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and I do thank you for it. Okay, so now I'll be right back. Okay, that was super quick. I just adhered everything down the way it was. I still have this loose over here, and then up here I decided right now I put that Kelly green circle, I tucked it in under there just to give it that consistency between the two pages. Okay, so having these circular areas 1, 2, and 3, I feel like I've already set my areas for my embellishment cluster. So that turned out to be a very easy and very pleasant surprise. So my title will go right here, and my journaling is going to go over in this area. Let's move this and work in this area. Okay, so I'll bring in the sticker sheet, and I know for sure I want to use this sticker right here, this garden post. I think that's super cute, and it's gonna be perfect because that's what we're doing. We're making a garden. Come back to our stickers. I do have the embellishments for this as well. Cute things on here. I'm really loving the watering can because we need watering cans when we're gardening, right? I haven't put this one down all the way because I'm thinking it would be cute popping out from this watering can. I think what I want to do is pop the watering can up onto some foam tape. Okay, so then it'll be like this, even off to the side. I also am really loving the little ladybugs that are on here, so I would like to take one of those and then just put it on the garden sign like that. Okay, so we're going to bring in our custom cutting system again. This time I have my large template and I'm going to cut out a ring. I think I want a ring down here, not necessarily a whole circle. So I'll bring in 2 blades. I'm going to bring in the blue and the red, and we'll first cut with blue and then we'll cut with red. And the idea is not to move our template in between. My idea is to do this and then just have the dog photos overlapping the ring. So I put the ring pretty close to the edge and then the dog photos just over the top of it. So I think let's do one more smaller one using the medium template, the inside track. I'm going to create my own sort of journaling peekaboo pocket using the circle. So we're going to see if this is going to work out. I'm bringing in a piece of the neutral lined paper. There we go. And then one more thing I want to do with my circle cutter before I put them away is to trim down this photo also. This is my idea. I'm going to actually put this dog photo here. Okay, so here's the photo. I have the dog photo here, and then I'm going to be able to flip it over and see the writing on the other side. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to bring in my 12-inch trimmer. I'm going to change the blade to the scoring blade. And I'm going to give it a little bit of a score. Now, kind of wish it was opening the other way. Well, I guess it could. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and score it over here because I do have a lot more room on this side of the photo. So all I'm going to do is figure out where I want my score line. So I'll bring in the guide from up here and see exactly where that's going to be. And I'm just going to give it a score. Now we're going to see if this works. This doesn't work, I'll probably edit it right out of the video. No. I have 2 things here, so I don't want to push down too hard to where I cut it. Okay, so you could see the score line. There we go. You can see my score line. And I'm just going to, it went all the way through, so that's good. I'll put the adhesive on like that. It's going to be held in that position, and when you open it up, you'll be able to see the second dog and read the journaling. You know, it's not going to be the best system. It's not a great peekaboo pocket, but I think it's going to be kind of cute and kind of different. So I'm going to go ahead and get that adhered down. Now I want to do just a little bit more embellishing. So let's see what we have here on our sheets. Okay, let's start over here. I think what I want to do here is bring in a 3rd circle. This one says the word smile, so I think I want it to be like 3 circles off in a row, kind of like I have 3 here. So up here means I want to do the same thing. I want to kind of bring in this. I'll pop that up onto some foam tape. Okay, and that brings in 3 circles right up there. We need something else up here. That maybe we can have the berries coming out from, yep, I like that. That's super cute. And then maybe we want to bring in another little ladybug. A little teeny tiny one right in here, as if it's just crawling around. That's cute. And then over here, let me see, I think I want to put it right here and bring in a sticker from a flower sticker, maybe from the sticker sheet. And then one more little ladybug just flying in like that. There we go. I love it. I love it. This is a very simple, easy layout. Came together very quickly. I love the addition of the circles, and I think I conquered it. I think I used the 3 tools that were randomly selected: my teardrop lattice border punch, the double Rickrack border making cartridge, and then of course the custom cutting circle templates. Those tools made my job so much easier on this layout because I created the border, very simple circles. Circles always add a lot of visual interest to our layout, so I used that circle as my embellishment areas, and then I just did some very mild embellishing. So I'm very happy with this. I love it. It tells my story about my daughter's 4-phase birthday. Thank you for joining me today, and if you're looking for more inspiration, I'm going to link the playlist for this series right here, and maybe another video that might be of interest to you right there. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.